Good evening and welcome. The time is now 7:47, and I would like to open the public portion of the June 26, 2024 Ridgefield Park Board of Education meeting. Let's begin with a salute to the flag. Mr. Vice, can you please read the Open Public Meetings Act?
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and attend at the meetings of the public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Ridgefield Park Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, place, therefore posted in the Bergen Record, Star Ledger, Municipal Building, Board of Education offices, and district website. Next section is participation instructions. Public participation will be conducted both in person and virtually through Zoom. All public will be muted throughout the meeting. Public participation comments are limited to 5 minutes. The public will be enabled to both speak and be seen by the board when participating virtually, telephonically via Zoom. Individuals participating virtually that wish to make comments during a public participation need to raise their hand by clicking the blue hand icon at the bottom of the Zoom window. Individuals participating by telephone that wish to make comments during public participation will need to hit *9 on their telephone to raise their hand. The business administrator, board secretary will then unmute individuals one at a time to speak in order that their hand was raised.
May I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Mr. Cooney. Here. Ms. Kraft.
Here.
Mr. Feitros. Ms. McNeil.
Here.
Mr. Malou. Ms. Rodriguez.
Here.
Ms. Schmidt.
Here.
Ms. Velez.
Here.
Ms. Orth.
Here.
President Martinez.
Here.
We have a quorum. The board wishes to express our condolences to the Malul family on the loss of Mrs. Durkis Malul. Mrs. Malul volunteered her time as a librarian at Roosevelt and Grant Schools for 30 years. We thank her for her contributions to our district. We would also like to extend our sympathies to our fellow board member, John Malul, and his family. Mr. Cooney, can you please move the minutes from March 27th, April 17th, May 7th, May 22nd, and June 12th?
Yes, I'd like to move the minutes for March 27th, April 17th, May 7th, May 22nd, and June 12th, all of 2024.
I'll second.
Any comments? Roll, please.
Mr. Cooney.
Yes.
Ms. Kraft.
Yes.
Ms. McNeil.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt.
Yes.
Ms. Velez.
Yes.
Ms. Orth.
Yes.
President Martinez.
Yes.
We have only one communication from the public, a letter from Ms. Diane Beeman that I will read. In 1992, I started my teaching career and shortly after transferred from neighboring district to the Ridgefield Park School District. After 32 years in education, it is time for me to retire from the Ridgefield Park School District effective August 1st, 2024, therefore giving my required 60 days notice. Back in 1992, the school system and community were synonymous. The year I started, the community was grieving the loss of their superintendent who had tragically passed away. At that time, the school board was led and united under the presidency of John Malul. During that time, the community came together in a way that reminded me of the two communities where I grew up, North Bergen and Cliffside Park. During my first few years as a teacher at Lincoln Elementary School, I knew I had found my forever teaching home. At that time, the community was strong and full of pride and a very special place to work, live, and grow. Over the years, many families have been close friends that are much more like family. In the past 25 years of my career in this community, I have held many positions, including classroom teacher, elementary coordinator, elementary supervisor, assistant director of early childhood education, and middle school principal. Each of these positions will always hold a very special place in my heart, but especially the children and staff that were part of each position. Over the years, especially the past few years, this community has supported me in a way that I could never anticipated or expected. Nonetheless, the support that the Ridgefield Park community has given me will always hold an extremely important part in my memories. Many of you stepped up to support me and believed in me with such fierce loyalty, and each one of you will always be a part of why I say I truly had the very best career. Times have changed, and it is now time for me to move on. Many of you can feel and understand the sentiments of my words and feelings in my decisions. I would be remiss if I did not take this time to thank some of the outstanding leaders and colleagues of years ago that I had the privilege to work for and with in the past. One such amazing leader that I have the utmost respect for told me years ago that he knew when it was time to move on, and now I realize that it is also my time to leave behind this chapter of my life. I would like to thank the students past and present of Ridgefield Park for allowing me to be a part of your lives and watch you grow. To the thousands of students that I had the privilege of being your teacher, and lastly, your principal, know that you will always have a special place in my heart. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Lastly, I would like to thank my amazing friends, many that I met because of our journey together in this community, for supporting me so strongly, especially through the past few years. I cannot imagine my life without all of you in it. And of course, my son, that has always been by my side and has been my constant support system through the toughest times. Know that life goes on because of you. With great pride and fondest wishes to the community of Ridgefield Park, Ms. Diane Barbato, Thiemann. Lots of talking tonight. The board did not hold subcommittee meetings since the last meeting. However, the board was provided with detailed notes on all agenda items by Dr. Vispignani, Mr. Bisick, and Dr. Martinez. Now on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Vice President Orth, and good evening, everyone. Pleased to give my report. First, I respectfully submit the HIB report that was presented to the board in executive session. In addition, twice per year, schools have requirements to report information to the state through the Student Safety Data System. As examples, the report shall include the number of seclusion and restraints, reports of HIBs, the nature of HIB, training conducted, or programs implemented to reduce HIB. This must also be documented on a board agenda. This data is from the 23-24 school year, being the present school year, for the reporting period of September 1st through December 31st. So please let the minutes reflect that the district has reported the information in the state system and has been documented on this board agenda. Moving on, end of year, some exciting recognition. I'd like to welcome our athletic director and supervisor of physical education and health, Mr. Ramundi, to recognize some outstanding spring sports celebrations. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank you for allowing me to be here tonight to recognize some of our spring accolades that we had this year. First, I'd like to call up Coach Papetti with his wife and his son Cole, who are here tonight. No Cole, no Cole. But Coach Papetti is three times in a row we have won our division in baseball. So this year was the third time. It's nice to put those those numbers up on the board in the gym, which looks amazing, by the way, and sounds amazing. The new baffles are unbelievable. The sound baffles that we have in there, it's very exciting. The 8th grade promotion was outstanding. You could not have the sound bouncing everywhere. It was awesome. Here's the star right here, Cole. Cole, wave to everybody. But it's nice to have, you know, we have outstanding coaches, and Scott in particular makes my life as an athletic director very easy. Scott's organized, he's conscientious, and most of all, he cares deeply about his kids. He's had a good group of kids. We had a nice co-op this year with Pagoda, and you know, they needed us more than we needed them, but we needed them a few years ago in wrestling, so we reciprocated, and it worked out beautifully. And the Pagoda kids, you know, if you talk to Coach Papetti about it, the Pagoda kids and parents couldn't have been more happy with the way things went this year. And a large part of that is attributed to Coach Papetti and his attention to detail and his caring for his student athletes. So, you know, without further ado, I'd like to congratulate Coach Scott Papetti for, you know, back-to-back division titles and for winning the Big North Conference American Division Coach of the Year. Congratulations. All right, next I'd like to call up Coach Hanson and Eliza Mullen. Gabby was supposed to be here tonight, but she had a last-minute game that she jumped into to play in, so I apologize for her absence tonight. But we're good. Eliza, and you know, I've said this to anybody that'll listen, and this is no disrespect to any softball player that has ever come through, you know, Richfield Park in the history of Richfield Park, but Eliza is probably the best player who have ever played softball in Richfield Park. She's over, how many career hits did you have? 185 career hits, you know, first team All County. If you saw Greg's hair is a little bit longer, it's gray, and that's because about 3 or 4 years ago, he inherited a program that really didn't have much talent. It didn't have much talent, but Greg, you know, worked hard. We knew we had a good group of younger kids that were coming up, and we worked hard to keep them here. These kids chose to stay here and play together, and last year made the section final. This year made the section quarterfinal and won the division. And a large part of that is due to the fact that we had Eliza playing shortstop and literally getting a hit every time she was up. It was an unbelievable thing to witness and experience. Congratulate and recognize Eliza, first team All County. And with that, a lot of the comments that I made about Coach Papetti in regard to Coach Hanson, you know, I'm a tremendously fortunate athletic director to have these guys as coaches. Coach Hanson is as equally attentive to detail, structure, you know, caring about the girls. He gets a lot of help from Coach Calasino. That's awesome with the kids as well. They got a nice unit, and I'm looking forward to, although we're going to lose Eliza, which is a huge loss, and you can't even, you can't fill those shoes, but we got a good group of kids coming back in both baseball and softball. So I'm excited for the future and what that holds. So I'd also like to congratulate Coach Hanson, who was also the Big North Conference American Division Coach of the Year. Just want to wish everybody a happy, healthy, safe summer and enjoy it. And it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
As always, thank you, Mr. Armundi, for joining us this evening and for organizing the celebration. We do have one other recognition. If our athletic honorees have a few minutes just to remain prior to breaking for some pictures, If we could honor our student reps, I'd like to do so now, and then we'll take a brief intermission to take some pictures with both groups. I'm going to come up to the podium to honor our student reps now. No? All right. Very well. So on tonight's agenda, there is a resolution for the board to move forward in regard to honoring our student reps who have dedicated a significant amount of time this year, in addition to all their academics and extracurricular activities, joining us at least once a month, if not on some occasions twice per month. We really appreciate the time, and we wanted to demonstrate that with certificates of appreciation this evening. So what I'd like to do is just call up each individual student rep to receive a certificate. And then again, we'll break at the end for a few photos. So first, I'd like to recognize Bree Cooney. Thank you, Bree. Got it. Jillian Dolch. Olivia Locarno. Zoe Tabarez. Leah Nagel. Adam Vercelli. Juliana Gonzalez. Vicky Lynn. Shay Lucino. And Chloe Umana. And Leah Varela. All right, thank you again to our student reps. If we can just take a brief intermission to take some photos with our spring athletics as well as the student reps, that would be great. All right, congratulations again to our spring sport honorees as well as our student reps. And speaking of student reps, we'd like to hear from our two student reps joining us this evening for their report.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Zoe Tavares, and I am Student Body Vice President.
And I'm Jillian Dolch, and I'm the student body president. We both just finished our junior year and will be two of the student reps for this upcoming school year.
The last few weeks are filled with many trips. The student government enjoyed a beautiful day in New York City, remembering those we lost on 9/11. They toured the 9/11 Museum and Memorial, in addition to going to the observatory deck on the Freedom Tower and taking in the breathtaking views. Our 9th and 10th graders enjoyed a trip to Six Flags, while the 8th graders went to American Dream Mall. Our 7th grade honors science classes took a trip to Roosevelt School to present projects on the body systems to our 3rd graders. The child development class took their annual trip to Roosevelt School to see childhood skills and milestones in real time. It is a fantastic opportunity to practice what they learned in a hands-on situation. All students involved enjoyed the experience. Last week, the seniors attended Woodlock Resort for their final trip here at RPHS. A notable trip was when the 7th grade honors civics classes attended Rutgers University for Project Citizen. This year's competition was very tough. Students from 2 high schools and 8 middle schools presented on diverse subjects. Our students focused on the lack of Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, compliance in public parks at both the local and county level. Once again, our students took home a win. This was the 11th win in the last 15 years. They now move on to the National Digital Portfolio Showcase.
Now turning to sports. Track stool records were as follows. Girls were 3-1 and boys were 2-2. There were 16 athletes who received all division honors. Softball finished their season with a record of 19-8. Eliza Mullen finished first team all-county, finishing her career with 185 hits. This is the most in Richfield Park history and the fourth all-time in North Jersey. Baseball finished 14-11 and were 3 times Big North champions. Coach Scott Papetti was named Coach of the Year. Shayla Zeno was second team All-County and first team All-League. Shay finished as the all-time hits leader in school history. Victor Rodriguez and Nicholas Buda were named first team All-League. Hector Zarzuela was second team All-League, while freshmen Andrew Garcia and Emmanuel Paul Ruiz were named honorable mention All-League. This is all we have to report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Jillian. Thank you, Zoe. As always, we appreciate you coming out tonight. In the interest of time, we'd like to excuse you at this point so you can enjoy your summer, and we look forward to seeing you again in the upcoming school year. All right, and to continue my report, end of year, many festivities, exciting events, and the pre-K 6 schools, pre-K and kindergarten students had their promotion ceremonies, as did each of the elementary 6th grade promotion ceremonies, and students and staff had a great time participating in the annual field days. And of course, at the junior high school, our 8th grade students were promoted to high school on Monday, June 17th, and had their end of year formal on Thursday, June 6th. And the high school graduation took place last week on June 19th. Approximately 220 students earned their diplomas, and we are all so proud of their graduates and wish them well. Just a brief pre-K update. Pleased to announce that placement letters have gone out to our families on June 17th. This is well in advance of the previous year, so we're very excited to be able to place our families on early notice so they know that the location and additional information will be forthcoming to those families for the upcoming school year. I wanted to share an update on the central office relocation. Pleased to share that in early July, we will be relocating our central office, which is based currently at Lincoln Elementary School, to 65 Challenger Road. We will be located in Suite 360. And for community members and staff who will be visiting the central office for various reasons, please know that there is ample parking on site. Some notable items on the agenda. First, I'm pleased to be recommending to the board the contracts for our Assistant Superintendent, Ms. Triglia, and our Business Administrator, Board Secretary, Mr. Bisig. These have followed appropriate protocols and have been approved by the County Superintendent. And I just wanted to pause and sincerely thank them for all their efforts. They have played an integral part in moving the district forward. I think we made a lot of progress this year, and we would not have been able to attain that without their efforts. So thank you, Mr. Bisek and Ms. Triglia, for all of your work this year. And I know great things are continue to come. I also wanted to share that I'm pleased to be making a recommendation for our supervisor of elementary education after a very thorough interview process with multiple rounds and multiple perspectives. Pleased to recommend Ms. Simone Anilian, who has over 20 years experience in the district at the elementary level. Absolutely looking forward to the work that she'll be doing in this role to support our elementary schools. And it'll be great to have her on board. And I know great things are to come. Also wanted to note that I am recommending a sub-service vendor, EduStaff, this evening on the agenda. The EduStaff will become the employer of our district substitutes. We'll be sharing some information with those subs to ensure a smooth transition as EduStaff will become the new employer. And EduStaff will be recruiting in the area. This decision was done after much research, primarily based on our fill rates, which are not where we need to be in terms of when we have a staff member absent, having the amount of subs to be able to cover those absences. Without that, it's creating a significant disruption to teaching and learning, and there will be a lot of value added to have a professional organization in the field of providing substitutes to assist us in increasing our fill rates and ensuring consistency within the schools. And lastly, as I wrap up my final superintendent report of this academic school year, I just wanted to wish all of our students and staff and community members a very happy and healthy summer, and we look forward to welcoming everyone back in September. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Big. Mr. Egan could not be here with us tonight, but he's been in regular contact with the administration and Dr. Martinez. We will now listen to citizens' comments on agenda. Is there anybody to promote? Good evening.
Good evening.
Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Mr. Kelly James Delia, 24 Central Avenue, Richfield Park. As we sit here tonight and hear the news of Miss Diane Thiemann,
I'm sorry, could you just hold on one moment? We're having trouble hearing you.
let me fix this.
Good.
Okay, so as we sit here tonight, my son will be a junior this upcoming fall. And as we've received the news tonight, I recognize how the one constant in the district has been Miss Diane Thiemann. I'd like to congratulate her for the impact that she has made, not only upon his life, but the lives of countless youngsters and individuals within our community. This is, you could say, bittersweet, because we truly have been blessed with a gift here in Miss Diane Thiemann, sent from above, from God Almighty. I truly feel that an individual like this should be thanked continuously, because this is what she has done for us, which is serve us continually with the title of educator, leader, administrator. And Miss Thiemann's retirement is heartfelt, and this is due to her touching actions. She is like an angel in disguise to us as a human being who happens to be an educator, carrying various roles and titles, who has touched many lives in the village of Richfield Park, let alone Lincoln School and the middle school, in the two settings which we have had the blessing to interact with her. It truly saddens our family to hear of her retirement, as Miss Thiemann has so much gas left in the tank. But what's best for the individual is best, as we must continue to be unselfish here and recognize and give thanks to her, as we have been very fortunate with this gift from above. It is unfortunate about how she was treated over the time, and we shouted loudly for the district to hear our cry, as it's so sad and the saddest thing in life and a waste of talent. And this is what truly we have seen here in our town as we look at such a great loss, as we have been blessed with such a great gift from above. So I truly wish that this is the reality of her retirement, which was not upon us at this time, as we will truly miss her and her heartfelt fervor, as we felt like she was our family who led professionally, aiming to lift the youngsters, guiding them beyond measure each and every day without question or doubt. We know our children were in the best hands. Thank you, Miss Neiman. Thank you, Miss Neiman. And at this time today, too, I pray to God for more to hear the message from countless stakeholders, because she is such a true example for all of us of what our youngsters need. To those who are believers, we need the greatest gift of all, which is love. And we are nothing without love. And this is what Miss Diane Freeman brought to each individual here in this district. And we love and appreciate you wholeheartedly, as it saddens us beyond measure. You deserve the best because we receive the best from you each day without question or doubt. Miss Freeman truly loved our kids, and this is her nature. This is her essence, as her heart and head truly were working together in unison, unlike any other I've witnessed as an educator in the past, as a student, as a teacher, or even as a parent, or as a coach. Under Miss Freeman's tutelage, under the various roles and titles which she carried out, it wasn't about any title which what she was about. It was her good nature, her essence, which truly defined the fact and notion that our kids, my kid, felt positive each and every day, because they knew that she was there no matter what, like a mason who builds them up one brick at a time, counting the positives, as this is what the youngsters need, a support system of that certain someone steering and guiding the ship, putting kids first all the time, leaving us all without any questions or doubts that the youngsters are spurred to do what's right, and they feel as though that they are being built up under the leadership that is before them. We cannot ask for any more. And we truly appreciate how you embrace them all as an unselfish individual who is a woman for others, always putting everyone else's needs first before her own, as she truly cares for each individual, whether it's a student, teacher, or any various family member or stakeholder within the community. This is indeed a bittersweet moment when any educator who is so dedicated and filled with such fervor, such as Diane, retires, and this is uneasy for countless folks who truly are big fans of this angel who made such a positive impact. Once again, thank you, Diane Thiemann, whether it was at Lincoln School, the middle school, or any other time when you were serving those before us. Kids will tell you she gets it. She is real. They like real folks who support them because they can see transparency. Because growing up is not always easy. I can attest to this through my roles. I've witnessed our angel, who will be great and will continue to be a great loss for us. It's a shame that this day is here. Her impact on student lives extends far beyond the classroom, shaping minds and futures in profound ways. While it's natural to feel sadness at Diane's departure, as she is someone who has played such a significant role, it's also an opportunity to celebrate her and honor her, as she deserves this, as she is worthy for her countless contributions and the legacy that she leaves behind. If more people were men and women who put others first,
Sorry.
and became tools for others like Diane, they will continue to leave lasting impressions and continue to inspire long after they're retired. Superintendent, please take note, because each individual, whether AP, honors, gen ed, 504, special needs, parents, family members, your teachers, your parents, your coaches, and all other individuals, she put them all before her, putting herself last, and everyone else came first. Thank you so much. Just like Tina Turner sang, you're simply the best because you are exceptional, and you will be missed because you connected so well with each and every one, no matter who they were. You put them all before you, and you put yourself last. That's why you are first, and you're simply the best, Diane.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Hi, this is Lori Pasiak from 15 Webster Street. Um, Kelly said that very eloquently. I just want to expand upon how much Diane has meant. My son after COVID, he was pretty troubled. Getting him back into the school was a project, and she was very instrumental in helping me get him in there comfortably. I will miss her a great deal. I wish her well in her endeavors. I do believe that we were very lucky to have her. I'm not gonna dwell upon everything that happened up until her leaving. I understand that that's beyond, what we need to do here. What we need to do is celebrate her years here, thank her for her service, and just appreciate the teacher that she was, and the administrator that she was, and the leader she was for our kids. They will miss her. My son is upset that he's on vacation with his cousin. He couldn't be here, but he wanted me to wish her well and tell her that he's going to miss her a lot, and that when he does play for the football team this year, because he did join it, if he makes any tackles, they're going to be in her name. But I really do appreciate everything that she did for my son and for all of our kids. When I was on the PTA at Lincoln, she always helped us out. She was amazing for the kids. She knew every child's name, even if they weren't in her class. So that's a rare teacher, and I do appreciate all the memories that we made with her while she was here. And Diane, I'm wishing you all the best, and keep in touch. And we love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Nobody else to promote? Okay, that will close the public comment period. We will now move to our agenda items. Trustee Velez, would you please move policy and regulation?
I so move policy and regulations 901.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? Actually, I have a comment. I just wanted to update the public on the use of facility items on the agenda tonight, and specifically its impact on summer basketball programs. Historically, board policies and procedures on the use of school buildings were not adhered to. Programs such as the Board of Recreation and other volunteer organizations would have to compete for space and time in our gyms with privately owned and privately profitable baseball, basketball, and other sports. While popular, some of these programs were uninsured, brought in students from other districts, and paid little to nothing for the building's wear and tear, heating, cooling, and cleaning. Regardless of past practice and their popularity, not charging for for-profit programs amounts to gifting public resources to private individuals, which is forbidden. To remedy the situation, we revised our fee structure and use structure. After 2 years of discussion, debate, and research, the board decided that the program sponsored by the village, the Board of Recreation, or all volunteer community-based organizations would be granted free school access, assuming 90% of participants are Ridgefield Park residents. In contrast, privately owned for-profit programs would be charged the estimated cost of operating, maintaining, and controlling the climate of the areas used. The goal was not to turn a profit, but to cover the cost of building use. Understanding that some privately run programs serve as feeder programs for our athletic programs, the policy now reads, quote, active coaches running feeder programs comprised of 90% Ridgefield Park students would be charged a flat fee of $300 per week. The board understands that these programs, coaches, volunteers, and parents enrich the experience and education of our children during off-school hours. The board is thankful that the girls' basketball coach, Amanda Lax, collaborated with the new administration, allowed the administration to research the matter and make a proposal to the board on which we are voting tonight. And that she was since able to recruit around 40 future Lady Scarlets to participate in this summer's program. We want to assure the public that this board is committed to working with and maintaining these vital enrichment programs while also being fiscally and ethically responsible. Can I have a roll call?
Mr. Cooney,
Yes.
Ms. Kraft,
Yes.
Ms. McNeil,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt,
Yes.
Ms. Velez,
Yes.
Ms. Orth,
Yes.
President Martinez.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Trustee Kraft, could you please move faculty and programs 1001 to 1014?
Sure. I make a motion to move FP 1001 to FP 1014.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll.
Mr. Cooney,
Yes.
Ms. Kraft,
Yes.
Ms. McNeil,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt,
Yes.
Ms. Velez,
Yes.
Ms. Orth,
Yes.
President Martinez.
Yes.
I apologize. I did have one comment on that last. It doesn't affect the outcome of the vote. I just wanted to thank the All Schools Special Needs Program for $23,314 worth of various items and supplies for use in special education programs at Grant, Lincoln, Roosevelt, and the junior senior high school. Thank you very much for your contribution. Trustee Cooney, could you please move buildings and grounds?
Resolutions 11.01 through 11.04. I so move.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call.
Mr. Cooney,
Yes.
Ms. Kraft,
Yes.
Ms. McNeil,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt,
Yes.
Ms. Velez,
Yes.
Ms. Orth,
Yes.
President Martinez.
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt, would you please move consent agenda 1301 to 1303? Sorry, Ms. McNeil, would you please move finance and insurance 1201 to 1235?
I move 1201 to 1235.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll.
Mr. Cooney,
Yes.
Ms. Kraft,
Yes.
Ms. McNeil,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Abstain 1201, 1213, yes to all.
Ms. Schmidt,
Yes.
Ms. Velez,
Yes.
Ms. Orth,
Yes.
President Martinez.
Brief comment before I vote. Just wanted to say that a lot of the items that on this F&I category are very exciting improvements to the schools and the grounds that I look forward to seeing in September. But I don't want to be a spoiler, so I will vote yes.
Motions pass. Trustee Schmidt, please move the consent agenda 1301 to 1303.
I make a motion to move 1301 through 1303.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, I'd ask for the roll.
Mr. Cooney,
Yes.
Ms. Kraft,
Yes.
Ms. McNeil,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt,
Yes.
Ms. Velez,
Yes.
Ms. Orth,
Yes.
President Martinez.
Yes.
Motion's pass. Trustee Kraft, would you please move Personnel 1401 to 1444?
I make a motion to move P 1401 to P 1445.
Second.
Any questions or comments to the board? I would like to thank Ms. Thiemann, Ms. Andaluca, Kyle Lamone, Indira Swade, Anna Delgado, Matthew Talbot, and Ms. Helen Molina for your service to the children of Ridgefield Park. Good luck in all your future endeavors. Also would like to welcome to our school community, Ms. Rosa Abreu, Ms. Sandra Peaston, Ms. Giuliani Rodriguez, Ms. Enli Medina, Ms. Minji Kim, Ms. Alexa Durant, Ms. Lourdes Bravo, Mr. Luke Becker, Ms. Bianca Kiosco, and congratulations to Simone Anlian in your new role as Supervisor of Elementary Education. May I please have a roll call?
Mr. Cooney,
Yes.
Ms. Kraft,
Yes.
Ms. McNeil,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Abstain 14-12. 14-2. Yes, vote.
Ms. Schmidt,
Yes.
Ms. Velez,
Yes.
Ms. Orth,
Yes.
President Martinez.
Yes.
Motion's pass. We will now listen to citizens' comments off agenda. Again, I would ask that we keep to the generous 5-minute time limit, ask specific questions, and allow the board and superintendent time to research and answer questions we cannot answer tonight. Is there anybody to promote?
Myself, I'm standing here.
I'm very sorry.
That's okay. I'm still here. I don't have any questions, just statements. Hi, Nancy Serrano, 21 Grove. So good evening. I came here, tried to come to the last meeting, but you guys apparently ran out of here, so I missed it. Thank you. So not only have I been repeatedly coming here for quite some time to report some of the horrific things that have been happening here during physical education, and it's sad that probably not many parents are on or even watch this, but thankfully it all gets put on YouTube, which I will happily at some point share because our public needs to know. My child experienced horrendous physical attacks here by many different individuals, mostly boys. I have a daughter, mostly boys between 8th and 9th graders. I have no idea whether you know or not, but you should all be ashamed of yourselves. There are many absent parents here, and I've said it before, that many could care less what their kid is up to at the expense of my own child's health, mental health, and physical well-being. I don't care who feels shamed or hurt because no one has cared how my daughter has felt or will continue to feel. Because she will never forget what has happened to her and what has been going on here. It got to the point that she didn't even want to attend this year's 8th grade graduation when she deserved to, because she's a survivor, as she states herself. She survived all the horrendous things because your administrators have hidden it all. I'm disgusted to know that there was a sexual assault that occurred here during physical education, while the teacher was right there and present. I don't understand how I haven't heard about anyone being fired here. It's disgusting, and I hope to gather many other parents who have experienced similar situations. You have been informed of the things going on here, and I have proof at this point on how, Dr. B, you don't even pay attention to what the citizens of this community come to share with you. In some way, I understand that you don't even live here. Your children don't attend school here, so why should you care? Think about how well you think you would feel throughout the day, knowing or wondering how your child was while attending this place and being run by the administrators that are currently here. The principal within herself has had many years as a teacher first and ultimately left for a better opportunity and being a vice principal somewhere else. Talk about dedication. God knows what occurred at that school because somehow she conveniently came back here. Why? Most call her Barbie because she's a joke. I hope and pray that no one takes their lives here, as far as the children, because this is disgusting. That my daughter's concussion, the repeated assaults that you guys all called accidents, the lack of communication, the lack of getting the interaction of getting parents together, because everything just turns into being private, even to the victim. Help is needed here because you guys lack supervision. But to go back and elaborate on how you don't even listen to concerns here is because I have been here in previous months to address that it took me having to put it in writing and sending it to several people, silly me, thought having personally spoken to you, that you would actually follow through. But that didn't work when I was requesting the insurance information. It took many months to get insurance information that I needed that ultimately became invalid because of the 90-day time frame. You decided to write to me the following day, trying to check me, I guess, and state that I made a false statement and that the nurse had finally given the info to me on May 14th, when the incident occurred on the second day of school. Yet feel free to YouTube it and replay it. I did say that you gave it to me, but what was the point since the time expired? But it took me to continue my paper trail, not because I spoke to you personally, you connected me to Scott, I asked the nurse, I asked the administrators, one too many people, and no one cared. Considering you decided to continue your education to become Dr. V, it's sad that you really are not paying attention and could care less. Honestly, I don't care and don't mock your hustle, but maybe it's time you and the principal consider other occupations because caring for the children of Ritual Park is not your top concern. Such high salaries for absolutely useless people. Why not go look into how the current principal cannot seem to handle what is going on here? Parents should worry that no one watches cameras here, since the children here are so impulsive that many knew about the sexual assault that occurred and no one did a thing. I know it's not my story to tell, but my heart ached knowing what happened to someone else's child. I cried and cried over knowing what happened to him, and he isn't even my child, when I found out what happened to this young man. New to this town, and I can imagine how the parents must have felt disgusted. Imagine that happened to yours, and they decide to take their life because they were humiliated. Who should be humiliated is the parents, and the many parents here that have a bunch of animals as children. I don't care who wants to say anything about me or my children. I'm here, I'm present, and always ready to take responsibility if my child should ever cause harm to another. Thankfully, she has not ever. Who else can say that here? Everyone here hides or kisses rear for their own purposes. I don't need to kiss anyone's rear. And clearly, all I got was ignored because you lack better judgment in actually listening to what I was saying to you and wrote back to me about something that was not true. Shame on you. All of this could have been prevented. And shame on you for remaining in that position and many others that are in this for not caring for them in this town. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments. Good evening.
Hi, my name is Ryan Ruscio, and I'm going into my junior year at Ritual Park Junior Senior High School. My address, 63 Hobart Street, Ritual Park, New Jersey. It is so sad to see Mrs. Tiemann leave, although all she has done is positively improve the schools and positively improve my life. Ms. Tiemann was a great person, and I appreciate her so much. She got to know everyone personally, and she would never forget a face. Ms. Tiemann's nothing but an amazing teacher, leader, and friend. And I hope she gets nothing but the best from now on, even though she's been deserving of that. Thank you for the amazing impact you've had on my life and everything you've done.
Thank you for your comments.
Good evening, Maria Escobar, 80 Orchard Street. I have a question. I'm still kind of learning whether it's on agenda or non-agenda, but from what I understand is that you will give priority to Richfield Park's recreational programs that are run exclusively on volunteers, with volunteers over paid programs. Is that my understanding?
I'm sorry, I want to make certain I understand your question. You're asking about our use of facilities policy?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Could you repeat your question about it? I'm sorry, we're having trouble hearing you here tonight.
Okay, I'm sorry. My question is if, from what I understand, before this passed on tonight's agenda, it was that you would allow other facilities that were paid programs, other programs to use the facilities that were paid over recreational programs in town that were run by volunteers, but now that's reversed. Is that my understanding?
No, we'll comment it on the end. If you have any other comments, I'll have Dr. Vespignani respond to that question. If you have any other questions, please ask them now.
Okay, my other question is, has there been discussion again in regards to what's going to happen to the, if there's going to be another school or anything like that? Because there's so many construction projects going on in town and also in Little Ferry. Are there any discussions in regards to more population of students coming in?
Okay, we respond to all questions on public comment at the end of your time.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, those were my two questions. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Orth, and thank you to our community members for their questions. First, it's important to note that every single incident that is reported is investigated and addressed. And in regard to the facility policy question, there was only one change recommended that the board had approved this evening, and that was in regard to district coaches having a revised rate, which would be a flat rate of $300 per week, which would be $60 per day if it runs for 5 days. That was the only change to that policy from the previous policy and regulation. And in regard to evaluating space, yeah, we're definitely monitoring, town enrollment and student enrollment. That's something we monitor monthly. And with our new administration, these are things that we're currently looking into. Thank you.
Thank you. May I please have a motion to close tonight's meeting?
Make a motion.
to close.
Second.